2 Timothy chapter 4, commencing with verse 6, reads on this wise, "For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day. And not to me only, but unto all them that love his appearing." Just for the time that I have to share, I would like to borrow those words from the Temptations' lead singer, Eddie Kendricks, and entitled this message, "Keep on Truckin'." Keep on trucking. It was at the peak of the Summer Olympics of 1992, where the world's most renowned sporting events had gathered the world's best athletes to compete. Among them was British sprinter Derek Redmond, who was a favorite in earning a gold medal in the 400-meter dash. As a consequence, as he lined up for the semifinals, the audience was thrilled with the anticipation of how the race would pan out for him. But shortly after the race began, tragedy had struck when he made an awkward step, resulting in the snapping of his left hamstring, causing him to sprawl on the ground. And because of this unexpected matter, he could have been torn between two options, and he could have wondered, should he give up and accept the defeat or find the strength to keep going? But even though he had the option of giving up, he did not. Rather, he endured, not wanting to come off of the tracks until he crossed the finish line. And to make a long story short, his father, who was among the crowd, eventually made his way onto the track where his son had laid in defeat. And with the encouragement and support of his father, he stood up, wrapped his arms around his father's shoulder, and he limped across the track despite excruciating pain to reach the finish line. And even though Derek was not the winner when he crossed the finish line, his strength and determination has inspired millions worldwide, because he teaches us and he shows us by his example that despite all of our difficulties, despite our trials, despite our hardships, despite our pains, we are still capable of overcoming everything that comes up against us, so we can finish the race. And from the Olympic track to the scriptural pages, we can see that the Apostle Paul's life exemplified the same power of endurance as represented in 2 Timothy chapter 4. And this is made possible by the fact that he is sitting in the dungeon of a Roman prison. He is scheduled to be put to death by Emperor Nero on the capital charge of rebelling against Roman authority. Therefore, he was able to say that the time of my departure is at hand. He knew that his time on earth would soon be no more, but because he knew his time was cut short, he took the time out to say goodbye to his son in the ministry. He took the time to say goodbye to his protege, Timothy, before he left. And as he writes to Timothy, he wants him to know how to persevere in the face of challenges. And he made this feasible by thinking back on the things he had to go through in his life. And this is something we have to consider, because given all that Paul had to go through, he could have easily had a Marvin Gaye moment when he wanted to throw up both of his hands and holler and wave the white flag and give up. But despite everything that Paul had went through, he possessed the strength to be a fighter. he was able to fight on and never give up and never waver in his faithfulness to the Lord. And because of Paul's capability to keep on trucking, he teaches us that no matter how difficult the journey may get, we must fight on to the end. But if you want to fight on, if you want to keep on trucking, number one, like Dub, we have to be a fearless fighter. Yeah, we have to be a fearless fighter. Looking back over his experiences and journeys, Paul summed up his life by comparing it to a fight. Now, here the precise meaning of the word fight is to engage in conflict. This could allude to competing in sports like boxing or wrestling. Or it could be compared to military battle. However, whatever mental picture or perception that Paul had when he made this statement, there's no denying of the fact that he had to deal with some fights. I say this because his life was marked by a series of challenges. He had been stoned and left for dead. He faced the venom of a viper's bite. He endured shipwrecks and treacherous storms. He was in prison and beaten alongside Silas in the Philippi jail. He faced relentless persecution and perils against the Jews and the Gentiles. He experienced exhaustion, hunger, and thirst. He experienced being abandoned by his friends and allies. And because of all that Paul had to go through, he might have uttered those same words of Sophia from The Color Purple. All my life, I've had to fight. But despite the litany of hardships that Paul had, his response to them was not one of despair or defeat. Rather, he chose to view these struggles and view these situations as good fights. Now, this perspective could seem perplexing or even jarring to some, as it's difficult to understand how could Paul call these painful and gruesome situations good? What's good about a poisonous bite from a snake? What's good about being on your way to Rome and encounter a storm and you have to make it off the broken pieces? What's good about having people turn their back on you? What's good about giving and sacrificing your life for the sake of the ministry? What's good about all that you had to go through, Paul? I'm so glad you asked. The reason why Paul was able to classify these things as good fights is because despite everything Paul went through, he was able to defend himself out of courage, making him a true warrior. And can I tell you, we ought not overlook this. Because just as it did with Paul's life, every now and again will throw us some curveballs. Because last time I checked the record, God never said the road would be easy. God never said that life would be like Burger King where you can have it your way. God never said that every I will be dotted and every T will be crossed, because in each and every life, some rain has got to fall. But despite the fact that we can go through difficulty, it's important that we are mindful of how we respond to our difficulty. I bring this up because you have to rise above your circumstances. And you have to make the most out of them rather than allowing them to take the best out of you. Let me paint the picture and put it where the chicken can get it. Story has it that there was a goat that this farmer had. One day, the farmer discovered that his goat had failed into a well. Now, the farmer could not understand how his goat ended up into the well, but he thought to himself, what could he do to get the goat out of the well? Well, the farmer thought a while, and he said, I had this goat for quite some time. I had him for a very long time. He has gotten to the point where he's old and feeble. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my shovel, get some dirt, and toss some dirt into the well to cover the goat up that's inside of it. Well, the man did just that. And each time he tossed the dirt, the goat would cry. Each time he put a pile of dirt in the well, the goat would cry. But eventually when he threw some dirt into that well, he realized that the goat stopped crying. So he said now the goat was just crying. But now the goat isn't crying. So he said, let me walk to the well and let me see what's going on. And he went over to the well and he looked down in it. And he saw the goat shaking the dirt off. And the dirt would fall off the goat. And the goat would pack the dirt up under his feet and take a step up out of the well. And let me tell you, that's what it means to fight a good fight. Because whenever you fight a good fight, you rise above your circumstance before they rise above you. And can I tell you, in Dub's 76 years of living, life threw some dirt on him. I was talking to Leo the other day, and we was having a conversation. We were reminiscing about Dub, and I had to been about in the 5th or 6th grade. I recall Dub got real sick. Dub couldn't walk. Dub was flat on his back. And Leola told me that Miss Llewellyn went up to the facility where Dub was. And all she said was, Dub, you got to get up. And let me ask you a question. Do you think Dub stayed down flat on his back? Dub went from being unable to walk to having to walk with a walker. He went from that walker and he began using a cane. He put the cane down and Dub was able to step all by himself. He even began to ride his bicycle around the community because Dub didn't let life keep him down. He rose above everything that he went through. Dub had a situation. If you know who Dub is, you know what that situation is. He rose above that. Didn't look back. Got into the church. Joined the choir, and he has been faithful. Ever since Dub was a fighter. You have to be a fearless fighter. But if you want to keep on trucking, you got to have a fulfilled finish. You have to have a fulfilled finish. The Apostle Paul continues to reflect on his life. But he took things a step further by comparing his life to a race. And essentially, he's expressing the fact that he fulfilled his life's purpose, fulfilled his missions, and he finished the task that God had given him. And I respect and admire the fact that Paul said he finished the race rather than saying he won the race. I have to press this upon you because just like Paul, we all have a race to run. But can I tell you, in the race of life, I want you to catch this. Write it down. Put it in your notes. In the race of life, completing is more important than competing. Don't let that go over your head. Completing is more important than competing. Because the race of life isn't about winning anything. But the race of life is about finishing. And finishing, for those of you who are unaware, is the act of bringing bringing something to a successful end. Finishing is like a sailor harboring his ship. Finishing is like a student graduating from school. Finishing is like paying off your mortgage as a homeowner. Finishing is like finishing a long, hard days of work and clocking out. Finishing is packing up your tackle box after a good fishing trip headed back home. We all know what it means to finish. But when it comes to the race of life, we fall short. Can I tell you, we fall short in finishing the race of life because we allow our obstacles and our hurdles to knock us off of balance and keep us off of track. But can I tell you, God does not intend for you to start well and not finish well. Because a lot of us have a tendency to start something, but we fail to finish it. Because as soon as you discover that things aren't going your way, when you discover that things are not easy, you give up. And you forsake the track. And it is said that there was a man who was in a marathon. And as this man was running this marathon, he tripped and he scraped his knee. And he had blood dripping down his leg. But even though he fell down, he got back up. And after a while, he collided with some other runners. Fell again, and he messed up his shoulder. But yet and still, this man continued to run the marathon. And the people noticed that this man was hurt. The people noticed that this man was bleeding. The people noticed that this man was weary. But despite all of his pain, this man kept on running to make his way to the finish line. And eventually he did just that, and the reporters walked up to him. They wanted to interview this man. And they asked him, why didn't you give up when you scraped your knee? They said, why didn't you come off of the track when you collided with those other runners? Why didn't you quit when you were hurting and in pain? And the man who was being interviewed looked at the reporter. And he said to her, ma'am, my country didn't send me 5,000 miles to start the race. But my country sent me 5,000 miles to finish the race. And can I tell you on this Saturday evening that God didn't put you where you are to start the race, but God put you where you are to finish the race. And I know that life can sometimes get hard, but let me tell you what you ought to do. You ought to straighten your back, hold your head up, put some pep in your step, some glide in your stride, and go ahead on with your bad self to see what the end is going to be. And keep your eye on the prize. Keep on trucking. You have to be a fearless fighter. Keep on trucking. You must have a fulfilled finish. But when you keep on trucking, you will have a fortunate future. Yeah, you will have a fortunate future. Paul reminds us of this devotion as he goes on to talk about his faithfulness. For Paul said, I have kept the faith. And according to certain scholars, he's talking about his loyalty to God that he had through hardship. On the other hand, some will contend that he's referring to the fact that he upheld and protected the message of the gospel. Well, whichever Answer is correct. All points to Paul's devotion and dedication he had to the Lord. This is because Paul remained unwavering. Paul remained steadfast. And as a result, he was now able to witness the promises of God. All because Paul had a commitment. And Paul was faithful. Can I tell you, sisters and brothers, we have to have our commitment with the Lord. We have to show our faithfulness unto God. Have I got a witness? Because so often we want to be part-time Christians. And we only want to be bothered with the Lord whenever we want to. Some of us are just like windshield wipers on a car. We're one way this minute, and we're the other way the next. But can I tell you, that's not what it means to be faithful unto God. Have I got a witness? And one thing that I can say about Dove, he was faithful to God. Have I got a witness? Dove was faithful to the New Salem Missionary Baptist Church. Have I got a witness? On Tuesday mornings around 10 o'clock, you could count on Dove to walk through those doors to join us in corporate prayer. Have I got a witness? On Wednesday, Dove would strut through those doors and make his way to Bible study. On Saturday, Dove would make his way to choir rehearsal. And on Sunday, to morning worship. And Dove never complained about the work that God gave him to do. All because Dove was faithful. But let me tell you that on last week, because of his faithfulness, he moved from labor to reward. Have I got a witness? And let me tell you, on last Sunday, Dove didn't have to worry about wearing a baseball cap because he made it over with Jesus Christ. And God gave him a crown. And is there anybody here that's glad to know that God gave Dove a crown? Have I got a witness? And let me tell you, Dove didn't give up on the race. Dove race wasn't cut short, but God had Dove to go as far as he wanted him to go. Have I got a witness? It reminds me of a story about an old man that was gifted a watch. And this man was given this watch. And when he was gifted with the watch, he was told that if you have any problems out of the watch, read the instructions. Have I got a witness? So one day, this man had problems with the watch. So he took the watch to the local jeweler, but the jeweler couldn't fix the watch. So he went down the street to another jeweler, but the jeweler couldn't fix the watch. He went down across town, went to one of the best jewelers in town, but yet and still the watch could not be fixed. Have I got a witness? So when he made it back home, he thought about the instructions. So the man went and got the box that the watch was in, put pulled out the instructions. And the instructions said, if you have any problems, put it back in the box and send it back to the Creator. Have I got a witness? And let me tell you, that's what happened with Dove. Took him to the juror at UAB. Took him to the juror down in Brookwood. But the juror couldn't fix the watch. But on last week, the instructions were read. Said put him back in the box and send him back to his Creator. And is there anybody here that's glad to know that Dove made it to his brand new home? Ain't the Lord all right? Say yeah. 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 But let me tell you that Dove got his crown, because one Friday Jesus wore a crown of thorns on his head. He was marched up that skull-shaped hill, nailed Jesus in his hand, nailed Jesus in his feet, pierced Jesus in his side, put a crown of thorns on his head. He died. Is there anybody here that know he died? Put him down in a borrowed tomb. Stayed there all night Friday. Stayed there all night Saturday. But somebody say, early Sunday morning, Jesus, my midnight rider. Jesus, my burden bearer. Jesus, my heavy load sharer. Jesus, my strong tower. Jesus, my lily of the valley. Jesus, my bright and morning star. Jesus, money in my pocket when I ain't got a dime. He got up early Sunday morning. And is there anybody here that's glad to know that he got up? And if you know that he got up, say yeah. Yeah.